the women's or any belongings, to the Muslims. So the Prophet ﷺ, he prepared another army. After his return to Medina, he said, to the companions that we should prepare and chase the army of Quraysh, and especially those who did not take part in Uhud, they should be part of it. So the Prophet ﷺ, because of that concern, he assembled another army. And he said that those who take part, are those who took part in Uhud. So those who took part in Uhud, they may join this expedition or this, mobilization. But those who did not join, they can't join. And even, Abdullah bin Ubay. Who's Abdullah bin Ubay? Sahaba? Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul. Who was he? A munafiq, the leader of the munafiq, the hypocrites. Yeah, he resides in Medina. He lives there. So he told the Prophet, I will join you this time. So it's a fresh army again, okay, to just chase the Quraysh army and to see whether they change direction and heading towards Medina. If they proceed to Mecca, that's fine. The purpose of this is not to
Sorry to stop you. I've got a bit of a question.
mm,
When you say munafiq, yes, I understand what it means.
mm.
But how do we know? Is it from the Quran that we know that those people are munafiq? How is the criteria for them to be called munafiq after all this time? How do we know? Like from objective point of view,
Mm-hmm.
what confirms it? Like, is it from hadith? Is it from historians? Is it like how do we know that information?
Yeah, we so like if they are amongst us, we can't really, we don't know.
Correct.
It's hidden. But this Abdullah ibn Salul is from revelation. He's known as a munafiq, hypocrite, and also other evidences. Not Quran, from Wahi, from the Prophet ﷺ, yeah, and he also his dealings. You can tell, very clearly, like, you know. Yeah, he told his companions, Abdullah ibn Ubay. Okay, that's why he refused. He said, I will join you. He said, no, we don't want you. Because the Prophet knew that inside he was a different person than what what he is displaying outside. And even now, look, we can tell, if a person is sincerely a believer or not. Many things, not just from one thing, but many occurrences, many signs. And then we can confirm and say, this is something wrong here. Okay, when Abdullah ibn Ubay, during the battle of, he changed his mind and returned back to Medina with 1/3 of the army. It was in this Uhud, I think. Remember? And he said, he gave all the excuse and said, we return back. And it was at that time, both sides can see each other. It was about to battlefield, and he just pulled out. Yeah, and his purpose was to create that confusion, and so people go, oh, we're not ready to fight. I think we should just return back with him. So this is they're the hidden enemy, like. And this is worse because one is if you openly, state yourself as an enemy, then it's good. Everyone knows. But this one is hidden. That's why this, innal munafiqeen fi darkil asfal. The hypocrites are at the lowest, level of Jahannam. Lowest. So all the, dirty things are on them because they are at the lowest level. So this, so he said to the Prophet, I will join you this time. The Prophet said no, a big no, because he didn't join in in Uhud, and he wants to join now. So he said no. Yes, the Prophet said to him no. So now the Muslims responded to the call of the Prophet ﷺ for to go outside Medina and basically chase the Quraysh army. So even when they were in a lot of pain and anxiety, they were exhausted, but again they accepted the call of the Prophet ﷺ. And also one Sahaba, uh, what's his name here? He was Jabir bin Abdullah. This is a Sahabi. He did not attend Uhud. He couldn't go because his father asked him to remain behind to look after his sisters. So Jabir bin Abdullah. So the Prophet ﷺ, told him to remain, behind to look after his sisters. But then this time he asked the Prophet, I want to join you in this expedition, like in this invasion. It's called Hamra'ul Asad. Hamra'ul Asad. This, the Prophet mobilizing another army after the Battle of Uhud is called Hamra'ul Asad. And it's a name of a place, Hamra'ul Asad. And so this Sahabi, he joined this invasion or this army. Jabir bin Abdullah. So the Muslims, they marched until they reached a place called Hamra'ul Asad. That's why this is called the Hamra'ul Asad invasion. And this is about 8 miles from Medina. Not so far from Medina. 8 miles, you convert it to kilometers, it will be around 12, around there, very close. That's from here to maybe to the city. Very close. So they reached that place, Hamra'ul Asad, and they camped there. They camped at that place. And one person, his name was Ma'bad bin Abi Ma'bad. Ma'bad bin Abi Ma'bad. He came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then he professed Islam. He showed that his support for the Muslims, and he professed Islam. But some people say he remained as a polytheist. He did that so that because there is a covenant between his tribe and the Banu Hashim and the tribe of the Prophet ﷺ. So he showed friendship basically. That's why he professed Islam. He's showing his support because there's a covenant, there's an alliance between his tribe Khuza'ah and the tribe of Banu Hashim, which is the tribe of the Prophet ﷺ. Yes. He's still a polytheist. Favors the Islam, yes. And he said to the Prophet, we feel great sorrow for what happened to you and your companions. We are sad, and we hope that this will not happen again, he said, and I don't want to see your companions or you suffering again, in the future. So the Prophet, when he saw this, he said, can you go and convey, convey a message to Abu Sufyan. Who's Abu Sufyan? Yeah, the leader of the army of the Quraysh. Yes. So convey a message to Abu Sufyan. So you can do something for me, and to stop him from pursuing his evil intentions. The evil intention is to what? To change direction back to Medina and to attack Medina, because there's a high risk there. And the Prophet saw this. That's why he told Ma'bad bin Abi Ma'bad to try something to stop Abu Sufyan from executing his evil intentions. So what the Prophet ﷺ, was concerned about came to be true. Even some of the Quraysh, when they reached the place Al-Rawha, this is around 36 miles from Medina. It's not that far, 36 miles. Yep. So they said to one another, what did we gain actually? What did we gain from this battlefield? I know we gave a big loss to the Muslims, but actually what else did we gain? We gained nothing basically, I mean, we managed to, killed many Muslims, like 70 plus, but the Prophet is still alive, and some of his great companions are still there. So we should, we should not return to Mecca. We should go to Medina and strike and eliminate everyone, basically. The Prophet and also his great companions, like Ali radiallahu anhu and other companions from the, helpers and the, muhajirun, from the Ansar and Muhajirun. So this happened, and but then one of the leaders of the prominent leaders of the Quraysh, his name was Safwan bin Umayyah. He tried to discourage them from taking such decision, to go to Medina. He said, people, do not do such thing. I fear that, the Prophet that Muhammad, after his return to Medina, he had gathered, many of his companions, and especially those who did not take part in Uhud, and prepared them, those people to face you. So if you go back, I think nothing good will happen. You will lose entirely, basically. So don't do that. Just let's go back to Makkah and maybe try another time, but not now. Okay. So he said this to his people, but again he did not succeed, because majority of them said, no, we have to take this risky mission. No worries, we have to take it. It's worth it, they say. So now this the other person, Ma'bad bin Abi Ma'bad. Who was he again? Yes, and what else? What did the Prophet told him to do? Relay the message to Abu Sufyan. So he went to Abu Sufyan and tried to convince him, to just proceed to Makkah, basically, yeah. And then he, the way he said he tries to exaggerate. They say that, the Muslim, they have prepared an army that, I have never seen anything similar to that army. So he's trying to scare Abu Sufyan. They have prepared, and I saw with my own eyes. So there's a bit of, exaggeration here. So you should go back. But you don't want to face them or go to Medina, because you will lose, basically. And whatever you have gained, the win, you will lose in big numbers. So he told Abu Sufyan, because those people, some of who did not participate in Uhud, they are now ready to take part in this, to fight you, the politics, because they didn't had the chance to join Uhud. Now they're joining, so they are fresh legs, and fresh people. So you don't want to go and fight, they said, But then Abu Sufyan said, okay, well, what do you suggest then? What should we do? And then he said, so then he said, look, I think I feel that you, he said to the Quraysh, to Abu Sufyan, that I feel that you will not, leave the Muslims. You want to meet them until you meet the horses and the army. Okay, you want to meet them and see them and fight them. So this is and of course Abu Sufyan said, like, we have reached the common consent that we will crush the Muslims and their power. So they decide to proceed. Yes. Again, Ma'bad bin Abi Ma'bad tried again to stop him, but he was not successful. So now, and after this happened, the army of Quraysh, they were overtook by panic and fear, overtook them just like that. The army, not Abu Sufyan, but the rest of the army, they start to have this concern. Maybe what he told us is true. And so they, the panic and fear overtook them, and also the terror. So they fear for their lives, and then they said, just go back to Mecca. That's the safest, option. We go back to Mecca, but so they tried, to do something to stop the Muslim, from, to discourage the Muslim from pursuing them. See the Muslim pursuing, the Quraysh army. So they tried to do something to discourage the Muslim from doing that. They have to, otherwise, there will be a clash. So they said, we go to Makkah, but we have to watch our back. Maybe the Muslims are coming, so we need to do something, a propaganda to discourage the Muslims from doing so. So what they did was, there was a caravan belonging to Abdul Qais. So this caravan happened to pass by them on its way towards Medina. So it's coming to Medina and passing by the Quraysh army. A caravan belonging to Abdul Qais. So what Abu Sufyan did was, he said, can you relay this message to Muhammad? Can you pass on this message to Muhammad that tell Muhammad that the Quraysh had rallied their ranks to kill the messenger and his companions, to scare them off, basically, that we also prepared an army to kill the messenger and his companions. And you deliver this message, and what we will give you is, we'll give you some caravan loads of raisins in return. So you deliver our message and try to scare the Muslims off, and we will give you raisins, a caravan full of raisins. And that's why, and this will happen the following year. The market, the Uqav is a market where people from the Arabian Peninsula come to trade, sell goods and buy goods. So we will give you for free loads of raisins. So the people of that caravan belonging to Abdul Qais, they conveyed the message to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But then the Prophet did not change his position. Yes. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even the believers became strong in their faith. They were not scared. Yeah, they were not scared. Then they said, وَقَالُوا حَسْبُنَ اللَّهِ. They said, Allah is sufficient for us. Allah is sufficient for us, and He is the best disposer of affairs. So what happened when they said this? فَانْقَلَبُوا بِنِعْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ. So they turned with grace and bounty from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No harm touched them, and they followed the good pleasure of Allah, and Allah is the owner of great bounty. فَانْقَلَبُوا بِنِعْمَةٍ. When they had a strong belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they were not shaken by this news or by this message. So that's what we know from this ayah, is if we are not shaken, we increase our strength and our steadfastness in our iman belief, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us a ni'mah, a ni'mah, a bounty, a pleasure as well, great pleasure and bounty. So over here, this caravan actually arrived to convey the message to the Prophet ﷺ on Sunday. So what happened after that? The Prophet ﷺ did not return to Medina. He said, no, we will camp here and remain here for 3 days. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the Prophet ﷺ camped at that place called Hamra'ul Asad. That's why this is called Hamra'ul Asad invasion. And Hamra means red, Asad means lion. Yeah, red lion. So this is the place is called Hamra'ul Asad. So he camped there for 3 days, from the 9th of Shawwal to the 11th of Shawwal, and this is in the 3rd year of Hijrah. The 3rd year of Hijrah, from the 9th of Shawwal to the 11th. And then after that, the Prophet ﷺ and his companions returned to Medina. So the threat, because the Quraysh army was getting further away from Medina. So the threat level is down. So now the Prophet ﷺ returned back to Medina. But before his return, what happened was the Prophet ﷺ, he took Abu Azza al-Jumahi. He took this polythist, Abu Azza al-Jumahi. So he captured him, and this man, he was also captured in the Battle of Badr. Abu Azza al-Jumahi. Abu Azza. Lat wal Uzza. This is Uzza, but this is Azza. Abu Azza al-Jumahi. So, and this man was captured in Badr too. And you know, the Prophet ﷺ freed him, you know, because he was a poor man. He didn't have, you know, he cannot pay the ransom. He cannot pay to free himself, and also his family can't. And also he's poor man, and he's got a big family to support. So he doesn't have anything. He's a poor man, and also he has many children, many families. So the Prophet ﷺ, released him for free, but on a condition that he should not take part in any future battles between the Muslim and the Quraysh. So he promised, yes, I will not, take part in any battle. But then he broke his promise. So he came to Uhud. So I think the Muslim, this guy is a kha'in, yes. So we captured him. That's why he was captured, and then he actually was killed by Zubayr bin Awam, and in one narration is Asim bin Thabit killed, ended his life, executed, killed. Huh? Over there maybe, or back to Medina. Red, this one, during this, not during the battle. It doesn't say return back to Medina. Maybe at this moment, yeah, took him to Medina. The red line, that place, Hamra'ul Asad. Maybe in Medina. It doesn't say where he was executed, but before his return, they executed him. So before returning back to Medina, this happened. Yeah. So they got to him, maybe. They got to him, they chased the army, they got to him and grabbed him. Because he broke his promise, He was a marked man, basically. He was a marked man, yes. Oh, yeah. Because, it says over here, believer wouldn't be captured twice in the same trap, see? A believer wouldn't be captured twice in the same trap. So, it says, لا يلدغ المؤمن من لا يلدغ المؤمن من حجر واحد, it says. From the same trap, a believer will not be, tricked twice, 2 times. First is can, but twice, no. This is, so, yeah, you break the treaty before, in the Prophet's time, you get death penalty, finish. Now there's no death penalty, prison for life. Yeah, I think so, yeah. In countries with democracy and, the religion of democracy, preserves lives. So there's no more death penalty. I think in some countries there's still, for murder, for first-degree murder, like in Singapore maybe. Singapore, I was there 2004-07. There's one Chinese man, he killed someone, murdered someone first degree, death penalty by, I think, injection or hang, I don't know. Singapore. No, hang or, but death penalty, electrocution, I don't know. But not in Australia. Yeah, before, yeah.
Every country had thing. What's the word for it? No, there's a word for it. When you kill, capital punishment. Yeah, capital punishment.
Yeah.
Every country
Had it, and now it's changed.
Australia
But again, in Islam, it does not specify someone who, breaks the promise to be killed. It all depends on what is the best situation here. You can lock someone for life as well. It's also fine. Or death penalty. Okay. Which fits best for the current situation, for example. So the Muslim saw like he should be executed. That's it. And another one, a Meccan spy, a spy. His name was Muawiyah bin al-Mughira bin Abu al-As. He was also sentenced to death, this one, because he was the maternal grandfather of Abdul Malik bin Marwan. So this how he was captured when he went to see his paternal cousin Uthman bin Affan. So he went to see his paternal cousin, Uthman bin Affan. So Uthman, gave him shelter after he, sought permission from the Prophet ﷺ. So he was granted, on a condition that if he was caught after, 3 days, he would be executed. But so he did not comply with his, condition. So he was also executed because he remained, more than 3 days. And he was a spy for Quraysh. He was spying for Quraysh. So he was executed. And I think if you're caught for the crime of what they call it? Espionage, yeah. Life sentence, isn't it? Espionage in any country. Assassinate maybe, yes. But espionage. Okay. So the invasion of Hamra al-Asad is not considered to be a separate invasion. So this is part of, a follow-up. Follow-up to the Battle of Uhud. And it was, due to that battle. That's why scholars, they said that, the best view is the Muslim, they were not defeated actually in Uhud. They were not defeated. They incurred heavy loss, but, defeat, no. And we also can't attribute a victory to the Quraysh army because they didn't achieve anything. What they had, their intention from the war is to actually, once for all to kill Prophet Muhammad, and his great companions, but they couldn't achieve that. So they did not achieve their objective, so it's not a victory. It's not a victory if you don't achieve, your mission objective. So here, and even that they failed. They didn't even take any belongings to the Muslims. They didn't even enter the city of Medina or maybe harm the woman there, capture the woman and sell them as slaves and things like that. They didn't do that. So basically, in many aspects, is not a victory for them. And even, they just left in a hurry to Makkah because, that fear. They you see, and Medina was very close. How many miles? 12 kilometers, 36 miles, very close. It's just a stone's throw from them. So but they didn't invade Medina. So based on that, we can't attribute victory to the Quraysh army either. So, and we can't say the Muslim they lost in this battle. So,
If the original plan fight in Medina, they would have more soldiers to fight.
yeah, but there is a risk of
The plan B was to go to that place.
yeah, to go to Uhud and fight there, and you can see it's a better position. They had better position. Remember, the Muslim from behind were protected by the mountains, and also from the left flank, but the right was protected by the archers. There was a hill, and the archers. The Prophet ﷺ placed the archers on top of that hill to just see if anyone is attacking from the right side of the Muslim army. Yeah, Khalid bin Walid, when he saw the hill was empty, only a few archers remaining, he said, "Oh, let's attack." He coordinated the attack and attacked the Muslim from behind. So now the Muslims are trapped between, both sides, back and front and rear, and they were confused, what's happening. Because they were busy collecting, ghanima, collecting ghanima, the booty of war, the collecting. Yeah. Huh? Three. 3,000. The Quraysh, yeah, 3,000. Archers was around, I think, 100 something, or less, maybe. Less than 100. I forgot, yeah. Huh? Not panic. The Prophet said, even if you see that we are victorious, don't leave this until I give you a new instruction, you can come down. Because they saw, everyone is collecting, the armor, this, let's go collect some too. So they left. And the leader who is in charge of that group said, no, don't leave. We have to remain here because the Prophet gave us specific instructions to remain here, whether we lost or we gain victory. Hold position. So he was there. Yeah, items from the battlefield. Maybe armor, maybe something, maybe. Yes. Yes, yeah. Booty of war, yes. It's no, not looting. It's for them, but they want to get some, It's halal. It's not called looting. Yeah, it's not legal for you to take. It's illegal. That's what you call it. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. In that time, yes. But now it's not. There's no slavery. They say. Yeah. Finish. Huh? Islam doesn't say you have to have slavery. Doesn't say that. Ah. Yeah. Yeah, if they base it on the right teachings, yeah, because many commandos can do something which is against the teaching, and you have to see, how people will treat, because sometimes these conditions are very sensitive. I got a girl now, and they just mistreat. No, doesn't work. For that, maybe stop. No, because people they don't have the fear of Allah anymore. Yeah. If I was the leader, I said, no, stop, finish, You got to show kindness to win people's heart, And by taking them and saying, this is, my slave now, and do whatever you want, I don't think that's Islamic, no. It's not. Because the purpose of Islam is if they go for jihad, is to bring people's heart, not to make them even far away from Islam, And treating your enemy with like hatred and things. No, that's not Islamic. We fight wars to implement the laws of Allah, not to implement our laws. Other maybe teachings to implement their views. Maybe a group of men makes their views on and ideas on things, and they implement that. Yeah, you can prison, or you can free. Yeah, in the Prophet time, they become slave. Sometimes they become slave. Mm. Yeah, yeah. In Islam, slaves have rights.
Oh, so she's not married to, she's just a slave. If you ask her for,
If you no look no ifli in Islam, if you sleep with a slave woman, she becomes your walad. Walad, she becomes walad.
are you
That means,
asking permission from her?
of course, you can't. Yeah, you can't force.
Islamic decision.
Huh? Oh no, slave you don't need permission. But if you do it, she becomes walad. Hmm. And that's the practice during that time. During the time of the Prophet, that's how people practice, even their enemy. But we Islam, we put place, laws. Mm. 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 When? What did you say? When okay. Mm. Mm.
Because they
Mm.
would be like dead.
Mm.
Islamic so you don't need permission.
You don't need permission, but if the person doesn't want, then you have a problem. You have to solve. You can't, you can't bash. You can't bash.
Is there a grey, like a grey area? Do you ask permission or is there is there Sharia where it says you got to do this as a process or like there's got to be something, you can't just like whatever.
There's a process. Yeah. Yeah. Islamic law. You know that Islamic.
If there is or there isn't, that's
Yeah, Islamic law is based on maslahah. Basically, there's no cut text in the Quran. For example, you have to do like this. There's no. It's all maslahah, and also in the laws you must what is it called, reflect on kindness and mercy. Yes, that's very important. And the fiqh, yes. So you capture a woman in war, for example. You see, your aim from jihad is to guide people, not to I have a woman now. That's wrong. If anyone has that state of mind, he should not get anything from me. You get it? Yeah, I'm gonna fulfill my desires. I got like 4 of them. I was a warrior. I'm the leader of this army. I get 4. And the good ones, you take the bad ones. Oh, what's that? That's shaitan. Sahaba is not like that. And anyone with deen, his concern is akhirah. He will say, look, this woman doesn't want. She's concerned. She's shaking. They will say, okay, we teach you Islam. That's it. Become a Muslim. So you are saved in this. No, you have to use slave now. No, not like that. I don't think that's how they work. The Sahaba. But the enemies of Islam, yes, of course. You become tortured. You treat like a slave. They'll punish you if you don't follow, like this. Yeah, they punish you and they'll punish you, torture you until even you half dead even. So but the Muslim not even slapping the face of the slave. Many hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said, look, you're taken by the fire of Jahannam. And that's a slave. You slave, basically you bought, you purchase. It's like you own it, yeah? But you can't slap the face of a slave. Imagine slapping the face of a free person. Your wife, for example. Yeah. Islam has that teaching. No other teaching has that. Like in a hadith, something occurred and slapping the face, and then there's no other teaching. I see that. Only Islam in hadith, yes. So even slave have rights. Islam puts that right. And in freeing a slave, there's a virtue, big reward. Yes, freeing a slave. In Quran is mentioned when a person commits a mistake, he frees a slave. Itqu raqaba. So we know that freeing a slave is it's a very a blessed deed. I mean the highest one maybe, because you gave this person, his freedom. Yes. Next one. So here, over here, look at the Prophet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when, uh, if we look, even the Quraysh, the polytheist army, they both armies gained some success and also gained what? Failure as well. Both. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Quran. وَلَا تَهِنُوا فِي ابْتِغَاءِ الْقَوْمِ. He said, and don't be weak in the pursuit of the enemy. See, this is Hamra ul-Asad. Don't be weak. Don't be discouraged. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِن تَكُونُوا تَأْلَمُونَ. If you are suffering, you have pain and wounded, فَإِنَّهُمْ يَأْلَمُونَ. Then surely they too are suffering. So it's the same. Huh? You are suffering. Do you think they're not suffering? They're suffering too. They're suffering wounds. Some of their loved ones died as well. So the same. But then there's one thing different between the two parties, or the two armies. One is وَتَرْجُونَ مِنَ اللَّهِ. But you have a hope from Allah. Hope of what? Reward and paradise. That for which they hope not. They don't hope that. I don't know what they're hoping. Maybe they're hoping from their idols to... Yes? Yes? So those who fight for Australia, they go to paradise if they die, or what do they believe? What do they believe then? I'm interested. No, huh? Yeah, like the army, Australian army, if they fight and they die, where do they go? According to their belief. Do you know anyone? If you ask them, if you die like fighting for Australia, I don't know. That's sad too, because why you don't know? You have to know where you're going. Or they say you were finished. That's the end of it. That's why I'm asking. Maybe many have different opinions. Maybe, I think. The Christians will say, no, we go to paradise. Oh, it's Christian then. But I don't... Huh? Masih bagus, no? Oh, tukar. استو اعتدلوا.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا من أنفسهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء لله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله عليم بالظالمين الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منه فإنه ملاقيكم ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائما قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. استغفر الله. إلا بالله. عليكم السلام.